In the last 8 years or so as a United fan, I had to live through Ralf Rangnick's abysmal tenure as a so-called coach, the peaks and valleys of Ole Ball under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a Mourinho third season syndrome United side, and I can still confidently say that this season has felt like one of our worst ones in a long time. So in case you've been living under a rock and have missed United season so far, a quick TLDR is that we're currently sitting in 6th place with 48 points and a 0 goal difference after 29 games played. The two teams that are directly ahead of us that we need to worry about are Spurs, who are on 57 points with 30 games played, and Aston Villa, who are on 59 points with 30 games played. I'm not even going to get into the Champions League because that's a whole different can of worms, and our final chance to win at least something this season, we are in a good position to at least win the FA Cup. But the Premier League is definitely what I'm more concerned about, since United need to finish in a Champions League position, which 5th place might be good enough for. This season has been such a whirlwind of emotions, especially after last season where things really felt like they were finally going to take a turn for the better. And real quick boys, before we get into the rest of the video, if you're new to the channel, enjoying the content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're not new to the channel boys, glad to have you back for another video. Hope you're enjoying the content. But without further ado boys, let's get a quick recap for this United season so far and what's next from here on out. Last season was Ten Hag's first campaign with the club, and after things were all said and done, it didn't go too bad. Yes, he did fall out with Ronaldo. Yes, he did curse this football institution with the signing of Antony for almost 100 million euros. And yes, he did get battered by Liverpool 7-0. But for whatever reason, things felt weirdly optimistic to an extent after the 22-23 season. In a handful of games, we did manage to show glimpses of beautiful play, and we also managed to secure top 4 as well as the cheeky EFL Cup on the side. Despite Ten Hag's shortcomings, people thought that since it was his first full season, he was still shaping the squad to be his, that we had to wait until this season to really see what he was capable of. So in the summer before this season, as usual, we were linked with pretty much any player to ever step foot on a football pitch ever. But a couple of names that felt like they could come to Old Trafford were Harry Kane, which was definitely the biggest stretch of them all, Benjamin Pavard, Kim May-Jay, Todibo, Leon Goretzka, and Moises Caicedo. Having gone 3 for 6 with last season's signings, United fans eagerly awaited what reinforcements we'd get as a result of a first good campaign under Ten Hag. Well, what we got in return for our loyalty and for Ten Hag's decent work was Højlund and Onana, which I started with because they're probably the only good long-term signings that we made, Johnny Evans, who has been pretty solid despite his age and having to fill in probably more than he really expected to, Mason Mount, Amrabat, and Reguilon on a 6-month loan. Well, let's get into the season so far, shall we? This season has been almost pure pain to this point. I do have to say, however, I'm just glad we aren't in Chelsea's position, but realistically, we probably aren't that far off. So real quick, let me go over a couple of high points this season, since it hasn't been all doom and gloom. First off, Kobbie Mainoo has been absolutely amazing. He is only 18 and is putting Scott McTominay and our other midfielders to shame. There was a lot of hype surrounding his name before he really kicked off this season for United, as after an impressive preseason, he would miss the first half of the campaign due to injury. But boy, since he's come in, the kid has been a revelation in our midfield and is hopefully going to be a key piece for years to come. Extremely technical, not afraid to show for the ball, and a key eye for both attacking and defensive actions, Mainoo's rise has probably been the best thing about this season. Secondly, Højlund's run where he scored in 6 straight games for United was absolutely amazing. Højlund, who was one of our only good signings this season and another great long-term player, had struggled greatly in the squad when he returned from injury, and was honestly getting memes so bad because he wasn't able to score a goal for quite some time. It seems like because he was playing for United, everyone forgot he was an under 21 player coming from a different league. It just gave him 0 time to adapt. But once he got his first Premier League goal, the floodgates opened after having to endure Martial for so many years. It was amazing to see Højlund bagging goals for fun before he got injured again. Final positive for this season so far are the 2 great performances that we put on against Everton and Liverpool. The Liverpool performance was in the FA Cup, but still an amazing performance nonetheless. That's about it really. Other than those few positives, this season has been absolutely terrible. In pretty much all of our games, we really look like the worst team on the pitch, even in the games that we win. For example, in the 2 games against Luton, we only just about managed to beat them by 1 goal margin. We lost 3-0 to a 15th place Brentford side at Old Trafford, and in our most recent game, we gave up 31 shots to a terrible Brentford side. We struggled greatly in the attack, and game after game we are incapable of displaying anything that resembles a good defensive shape. We've also been riddled by injury the entire season. Players like Mount, Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez, Varane, Maguire, Luke Shaw, and Højlund have all faced long spells on the sideline due to injury. It's a miracle that we're even in the position that we are at this point in the season. I'm usually a pretty optimistic guy when it comes to United, but they have really pushed me this season. So with 9 games remaining and a 9-point gap between us and 5th, which again is probably going to be enough for us to get Champions League, that does beg the question, are we capable of securing a Champions League spot? Call me crazy, call me a psychopath, call me whatever you want, but I think we might be able to do it. And believe me, it's not because I have faith in United, but rather I think it's the teams ahead of us that are going to slip up. See, Spurs have a 4-game run where they have to play Newcastle, City, Arsenal, and Liverpool all in that order. Are you going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that Tottenham is able to get out of that run unscathed? For Villa, they still have to play City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool all away from home. Villa actually plays City tomorrow as of the day that I'm recording this. I'm going to predict City win 3-1, but I'm going to put the score here and we'll see how close I got. But going back to Villa's run, they also have to balance a European campaign, which Emery is known for prioritizing over the league, as this is something we saw when he was managing Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, we still have hard games ahead of us as well. We have games against Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Arsenal. But I do believe we have a better chance against Chelsea, Liverpool, who we just beat, and Newcastle compared to the other two clubs. I am recording this a couple days before we actually play Chelsea, so hopefully I don't jinx us. But with that being said, I really do think we're going to end up bubbling our way to either a 4th or a 5th place finish. It's not going to be pretty by any stretch of the imagination, as we'll probably keep narrowly winning these games like we have been against Luton, Wolves, Fulham, but I do think we'll get it done. And you guys can let me know in the comments down below, how crazy am I being on a scale of 1 to 10 here?